Hello, colleagues, and welcome to the next episode of DINCast, where I'm delighted to be joined by Nureen Glaves, founder and CEO of Feed Me Good. Nureen, hello.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Ian. Oh my God, we're finally doing this. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's took a while, but I'm really pleased to have you. So Nureen is, as I say, founder and CEO of Feed Me Good, an author, chef, food nutritionist, and more recently a TV celebrity as well. So we'll find out a bit more about that as we go through. But the whole purpose of this DINCast, I thought, would be really good to look at the work that Nureen has been doing and how we tackle food poverty through education and help nutrition within some of the most challenging communities that social housing providers sort of operate around that. But Nureen, for those people who haven't had the opportunity to see you on TV or read your publications yet, tell us a little bit about yourself. How have you managed to get yourself into this position and have such a fantastic career?
Oh, thank you so much for all of that intro. I'm like, oh my God, wow. I think for me, it was using my passions in food and nutrition, because my background has always been around that. So I've got like 22 years experience in catering, because I've been doing cooking since I was 4, then like manufacturing or public health and dietetics, food sales, and then eventually community-based work, which I've been doing for the last 17 years. But I think my communities inspire me a lot, because I find that with food, it's such an easy vehicle to break down barriers when it comes to either language or just backgrounds, religion, and so forth. A lot of communities, they want to share. They always got like stories when it comes to food. So I use that connection and then I match it to nutrition, and basically that's probably like my superpower. I would say I literally matched food to nutrition. So my chef brain first, she's like, I want to feed you good. That's where the feeding comes from. Then the nutritionist brain on my side will be like, but I want to make you understand the nutrients that you're eating or what nutrients you may need to have. And I think because of that, I'm always learning, always growing, always wanting to add more knowledge so that I can support my communities to make better choices in the health and well-being.
And so where did with what point did you decide, hang on, that there's a business in this for me, and, it's something I want to sort of build and grow? So tell us a bit more about sort of, Feed Me Good as a business.
Yeah, so I actually did the Prince's Trust in 2013. I did a whole year. My background is not business, it's literally food and nutrition. And I had this amazing mentor called Vanessa. And at the time, I was just kind of testing things out. And I think when it was like 2016 or 2015, when I worked with the first housing association and first primary school, that I realized there was something here. If I'm being really honest, when I was working in public health and dietetics, it was exactly what I'm doing now, but I was doing it then for about 2 years. So I worked in like different communities. So we had like people with HIV. We also had young mothers, single dads, Somali groups. We had such a mixture that I was doing cooking classes with, and I was learning nutrition as I was actually delivering. And then when I worked in different industries, I realized that I wasn't happy. I literally was just like working in manufacturing thinking, oh my God, I just didn't find the joy in it. I was just always busy, and also being a mum at a time as well, like having a young child, it was very difficult to kind of balance everything. And yeah, I think from me working in public health and dietetics as a dietetic assistant, that helped me to have like a focus and be like, oh my God, this is really fun. This is a job, but it's not really a job. So there's something here. And I think when I left manufacturing after getting my degree, because it helped me to kind of go to university as well, then what I found was that, yeah, I just wanted to do things that make me feel happy. And that was literally teaching food, teaching nutrition, and bringing people together.
And so now you've got your own business, a very successful business. You haven't got there, I'm sure, without some sort of bumps in the road. What sort of challenges have you faced, and how did you sort of overcome them?
Yeah, I've had quite a few challenges. I think when you're doing, like, say, working with housing associations, they're really good because they give you like a set level. So what I mean by that is that you go through procurement. So you have to understand, what you're putting in the funding base. So that might be necessarily, your social impact, your financial inclusion, community engagement or cohesion. It might be digital inclusion. So you've got all these different terms that, to me, before, when I first started, I was like, what the hell is that? I need to get a dictionary for that. Like, what is this? But then as you go along, you're realizing, oh, actually, you're bringing people together. You might have your neighbors that you haven't spoke to for donkey years, and you're like, oh wow, I see you in the program, and then you start to have these little friendships. Or you literally go in areas where you're building community. So like example, a lot of people always ask me like, how come you have such a high amount of students that come to your workshops? Word of mouth. I find like me being myself and being kind, but also understanding that nutrition and food can be very daunting when it comes to the lingo. So I try to teach it in a very simple form. And I think that sets me aside from other health professionals, because a lot of communities, they want to learn, they want the support, but they don't know how to always either ask, or they might have like numbers that they don't understand. Like, say example, if you get your blood pressure done and then you're like, what are these numbers? And it's saying you've got high blood pressure, but like, I don't understand what that means. Or I understand what it means, I have to take this medication, but is there something else that I can do, you know? So I feel like one of the challenges I think that I enjoy is actually going in the community and actually meeting the people. I talk to everyone. I'm like, first I try and get discounts, because I'm like, listen, you got a butcher, you got a fishmonger, we need discount for our students. So we're going to be here for how many weeks? So I would love if you can give my students 10% discount. And that kind of helps a little bit to bring the community buy-in. So it's like local economy that you're supporting. And then I also meet friends with everyone. I go to the schools, I'll do like workshops there. I'll engage with the teachers or the parent liaison officers to kind of get the parents involved with the grandparents. And then I think it's making sure that I keep a safe environment, because I have such different backgrounds of community members. Like I have lots of religious ones that I've got, like my Muslim group, which is quite a large number of our demographic, making sure that there's a safe environment for them, or safe environment for SEND children or people with learning difficulties or disabilities. So for me, it's like just making sure that everyone is included and no one's left behind. I think when it comes to the discrimination, I've had a bit of discrimination, can't lie about that. Being Black, female, disabled, I've got like, I'm half blind, half deaf and dyslexic, so I've already got my own challenges to deal with on a day-to-day basis. But I think in a way that helps me to relate to people more. And some people, you know, they sometimes are just funny, they don't always buy in at the first time, but it's like, it's okay, because I'm just here to serve my communities and also look after the ones who need it the most, and also have a legacy that they can continue to come back to me and learn from me as well. And I think that's really what it is. I don't see challenges as, I see them as lessons. I think lessons are important to learn, and also make mistakes. You know, that's how you learn. I think some people always have a different attitude when it comes to these type of things.
Yeah, and I think I love the fact that, as I say, you've just gone into these communities, because you know in housing quite often, you know, we can struggle to sort of engage with the communities, but the fact that you're using food as that sort of opportunity to start that conversation is brilliant around that. But from a personal level, then, as I say, you know, you've started, you know, this business, and you've started to grow it and scale it. But how do you look after yourself? Because obviously, you know, I'm sure the viewers will see, you know, you come across with a very strong, bubbly personality and lots of energy around that. But how do you take care of yourself to make sure that actually, you know, you don't run out of energy?
I'm still learning. So this is the thing. It's one thing that you can practice what you preach. And sometimes I'm even guilty at that, because I will take on too much sometimes, because I'm like, oh my God, I need to save the world kind of thing. But what I realized, one thing that makes me grounded is travel. I love traveling. I particularly love going to Spain because my partner's from there, but I love to go places and learn about the food. I don't know what it is, but literally since having Feed Me Good, I literally just love to go other places and learn about the food, learn about the culture, and then come back and teach it. And I would also say that I like spa days. Yep, I like myself a bit of a massage, and I like to make my homemade treatments, and I like to teach it to my classes as well. And I think it's just understanding about stress. So like example, Ian, your stress levels are the highest in the morning when you wake up, and also at nighttime before you go to bed. So this is why when we're trying to get our kids to school or trying to get out of the house, it could just seem like the most stressful time ever. It's because your cortisol levels, your stress hormones, are the most highest. So it's like I have to learn these things and try to incorporate it in my life. I also like to have a bit of Korean dramas and a good nap. A nap is also helpful. You know, naps are not only for toddlers, they're also for adults too. You can get a little power nap in there. And I'd also say that I love having my friends and family around me, because I like to have them over for dinner or to go places. I find that with my partner I've got now is he's very adventurous, and I love that. It scares me sometimes. I can't lie. I'm going to the woods. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you do know Black people are the first ones to die in the movies, but it's okay. We kind of go through that, but it's fun because he brings me out my comfort zone. So we'll go hiking, we'll go, you know, on the boats, and we do all these different adventures. And I think it's really good. I feel like when you have a multicultural relationship or you've got multicultural friends, it helps you to understand your communities more.
Mm. And in terms of where social housing providers can play this, and as you've mentioned, you've worked with a few of them already. We've got a cost of living crisis. Food poverty is something that is on a lot of people's minds around this now. What role do you think social housing providers can play in helping scale up and tackle, you know, food poverty in this way? Because you've clearly demonstrated that actually, you know, you can make, you know, healthy, nutritious, affordable meals around this. So what advice would you give to working with housing providers?
I would say, honestly, they should have How to Be a Smart Food Shopper program. I specifically made this program for everyone going through hard times. So, like example, I started How to Be a Smart Food Shopper about 7 years ago. So I developed it to have 12 modules, one about healthy, switch and safe, where you understand where to buy your food from, what to buy in season, and also how to get the best deals, but also nutritional benefits. And then I had other ones that are students who really want to learn about habits, or, you know, we have so many different community members. And I feel like in order for us to actually support them, we need to have programs in place that's going to show them that we understand, you know, show them that it's okay. We understand if you have to go to a food bank and you've got this food, like, what do you do with it? And this is the reason why we've got modules like Think Ingredients, to make you think outside the box. Or it might be that you've got high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes, or you've got children who have learning difficulties or SEN. We understand that we have programs to help. And I think what I've realized over the years now, especially working with SSC, the School of Social Entrepreneurs, is that there's a lot of organizations or grassroots groups, I should say, that are doing things, but we're not connected. And I feel like that is going to be one of the issues moving forward. We need to be able to share resources. So, like example, we work all over the UK. We're not fussed about the location. We'll drive to wherever we have to drive to and actually engage with the community and really get our feet on the ground when it comes to that. And what I find is, after the life of the program, which happens to us quite a lot, we have to take those communities with us. So I think it's a thing where if we are going to be able to tackle this crisis, we need to have programs in place, but have them as ongoing, and then also have maybe like champions that can continue the work after the life of the program, but they can still be engaged with, like, say, Feed Me Good, for example, or have groups that we work with. We don't do everything, but we like linking up with organizations. So, like, say, like gardening and growing, that is going to be so good for your mental health, but also it's going to help you be sustainable when it comes to food waste. So you get to know what's in season, where to buy stuff or where to grow stuff. And you can do bartering with your neighbors. You could, I got a bit of tomato, darling. Oh my God, I got a squash. Can we swap, you know? And you'll save yourself some money that way. I think with this whole thing with the crisis, I think one thing we have to understand is we need to go back to basics. We need to learn from our elders. What were they doing back in those days? We need to be able to engage with our young people as well, and actually give opportunities for everyone to teach those life skills. I feel that's going to be really, really important for housing associations to understand.
And so from Feed Me Good's perspective, what next? I mean, you've just been involved with the Jubilee and things like that. So what's your ambitions for Feed Me Good next?
So I'm working more on our social media, because what I've realized is when we're talking about the pathways and legacy, I want to basically work with more housing associations across the UK, but also I want to have a system in place that has ambassadors. So what I've realized after doing some research last year with UCL around our children's health education program is that parents have a lot of power. and also the guardians, but we don't always give the support to the parents. They are going to be, or the caregivers, I should say, they have such an important role when it comes to the health and well-being of the child, but also they are very responsible for the whole community. By actually having programs in the school actually helps to engage with the community even more. And there's also different after school activities that are very easy to tap in to actually get community engagement. So what we want to focus on is two things: making our reach more wider across the UK and actually having an ambassador like type of prototype that we can work on, but also really look at our social media and see how we are able to basically capitalize on that by having workshops online. So imagine they do a program and they just want to have a bit more workshops to do, or they want to have a bit more engagement, right? Either cooking lessons and so forth. You know, utilizing YouTube and TikTok. I know it sounds a bit funny, but a lot of people are on there, and actually saying, okay, this is how we can teach you guys extra stuff after the life of the project. That way we know that we're looking after our communities, and also we know that it's basically covered when it comes to the funding for the life of the project or end of the life of the project.
Well, that sounds brilliant, and I'm sure you're going to be very, very successful in scaling up what Feed Me Good does. And we will make sure we put a link in there to the website and your contact details, so any of our sort of members who are watching this can get in touch and find out more about that as well. And of course, you've got a book out as well.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Yeah,
The book is so fun. You know what? Honestly, so last year we was working with UCL University, which was an amazing experience. And to be fair, my two students who I credited at the back of the book helped me to develop it. We did research about recipes, and we found that a lot of people struggle because they either one person, or the text is too small, or the ingredients are not always accessible to get, and they also have large quantities, so they're not able to always use it. So what we done was we had, like, in the beginning of it, you have tips on food shopping, how to store your food, immunity boosted wild foods. There's some of the topics we went through. And then you go into the recipes, which shows you the signs of, like, if it's gluten-free or dairy-free and how long it takes you. Most of the recipes don't take no longer than 25 minutes. That's prep and cooking time. And then also we made it for one person recipes. So that is like brand new in the cookery book game, because most recipes are like 2-4 people. But the whole purpose of it is that you're able to utilize the foods, understand a couple of the nutritional benefits in there, like, you know, what a tomato is good for and so forth, and then also be able to utilize the ingredients. So, like, example, the soup section, there's different soups there, similar ingredients, but you use the same stock cube, or you don't have to use the stock cube again. So instead of you just like using tons of stuff, you just use one and you just divide it into small pieces, and then you just have it for each soup if you want it. So I wanted to make sure that any ingredients that we use was multi-purpose. So say if I had, like, for example, chicken and a little bit of onion, like a chicken breast, onion, and maybe a bit of rice, I can make congee. I wanted everyone to kind of like try out different foods from around the world, which is very important because I feel you can learn from everyone, especially when it comes to saving money in your food shopping. I feel that there's a lot of vegetarian meals you can make that's going to be healthy for you, but also not break the bank, but also utilize what you already have. My whole saying is, like, buy what you need and top up on what you actually use.
Brilliant advice to finish with there, Nureen. Well, look, it's a pleasure as always speaking to you and hearing more about Feed Me Good. Wish you every success in all of your ventures, and I look forward to seeing you on all of the cookery programs in the future there as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.